There are roads across America that don't appear on any modern map. Roads built for miners, loggers, travelers, and then abandoned when something went terribly wrong. Tonight, we travel down one of them, the Hollow Road, a forgotten stretch of asphalt winding through a dying forest. What we found there was not just an empty town, but something waiting beneath the earth. Welcome to our journey into the dark. The Hollow Road. On the outskirts of Brimstone County, West Virginia, there's a road no one takes after dark. Locals call it the Hollow Road, a strip of cracked asphalt that winds through thick pine forests and long-forgotten coal towns. Decades of accidents, vanishings, and whispered tales have given it a reputation of being cursed. But to outsiders, it's just another neglected back road in rural America. In the fall of 1996, 4 college friends, Emma, Luke, Jasmine, and Robert, were driving cross-country from Ohio to North Carolina. They were students of urban exploration, filming abandoned places for their small YouTube-style VHS series called Urban Shadows. Their plan was to document the ruins of an old coal mining town named Black Hollow, which they had discovered on an old map. The sun was low when they reached the road. The air felt heavier, thicker, as if the forest itself was leaning in to listen. Cell service was non-existent, and their old map didn't show the newer bypass. They had to take the Hollow Road to get there. They drove for miles without seeing another car. The trees grew taller and darker. The asphalt narrowed, the yellow lines faded. Jasmine, who sat in the back, started filming through the window. On the tape, the trees seemed to blur unnaturally, as if faces and shapes were shifting between the branches, but no one noticed then. After an hour, the group reached a sign. "Welcome to Black Hollow, EST 1889. The sign was riddled with bullet holes and nearly rotted away. Beyond it stood rows of abandoned miners' houses, their windows like dark, empty eyes. The group parked and got out, flashlights and cameras ready. The town was silent except for the faint rustle of wind. Emma thought she heard something else beneath the wind, a low, rhythmic whisper, but when she asked, the others shook their heads. They walked through the town square. The church at the center had a collapsed steeple. The air smelled faintly of sulfur, and the ground was soft as if it had been burned. Inside the church, a massive hole yawned in the floor. Charred pews surrounded it like teeth. The group filmed everything, whispering excitedly. Then Luke noticed the carvings. Symbols scratched into the wood of the pews, circles of ash with jagged lines, like suns with too many rays. They matched drawings he'd seen in a book about Appalachian folklore. The sun below. It was said that during the last mining days of Black Hollow, the miners dug too deep, opening a cavern that breathed and whispered something older than the earth. People disappeared. The company sealed the mine. The town died. Robert laughed nervously. Perfect for our video, right? That's when the whispering began, loud enough for all of them to hear this time. It wasn't the wind. It was coming from the hole.
Suddenly, the door slammed shut, their flashlights flickered. Jasmine dropped the camera. Through the viewfinder, for just a second, a figure stood at the altar. Tall, faceless, its hands nothing but claws of bone. They bolted. Outside, the town had changed. The houses were closer, leaning inward, their roofs taller, like the town itself had stretched. The road behind them was gone. The trees had moved, closing the way out. The whispering followed them. It became a chant, echoing from the earth. Luke tripped and fell, scraping his hands. When Emma and Jasmine pulled him up, his palms were smeared not with dirt, but with fine black dust, coal, still warm. Robert spotted an old truck with keys still inside. They piled in. The engine roared but wouldn't move. The tires sank into the ground as if it were mud. In the distance, figures were emerging from the mine entrances, pale, eyeless, dragging themselves forward on all fours. Desperate, Emma remembered the old sign. "The hollow road," she whispered. "If we can get back to the road." They ran. The town seemed endless, looping. But then Emma saw a flicker of yellow paint, an old traffic line. She sprinted for it. The whispering grew to a scream. The ground shook. One of the pale things lunged at Robert, clawing his jacket. He tore free, leaving fabric behind. They burst through the trees and onto the cracked asphalt. Instantly, the whispering stopped. The forest stilled. The town was gone. They didn't stop running until they reached a gas station 20 miles away. The clerk looked at them like they'd seen a ghost. When they asked about Black Hollow, he just shook his head. "Ain't been no town there for 50 years. Roads closed." When they checked the tape later, there was nothing but static after they entered the church. No whispering, no figures. But at the very end, before the camera cut out, a voice whispered.
The hollow road still exists, silent and empty, but if you listen closely, it whispers. Do you dare follow us to the next place the map forgot? Subscribe now and join us as we uncover more stories hiding in the shadows of America's forgotten roads.